Shilajit is a thick tar-like substance that exudes from cracks high up in the rocks of the Himalayan mountains, and it's also found in the Caucasus Mountains, the Altai mountain range, and the mountains of northern Pakistan. It's been classed as a superior medicine in the systems of Ayurveda and traditional Tibetan medicine for thousands of years, and is known as the conqueror of mountains and the destroyer of weakness because of its broad and potent effects on health and longevity. In the Rig Veda, which is one of the oldest religious texts ever written, the mythical substance called soma was mentioned as the elixir of longevity and as a support for the perfection of both the body and mind. Now, in the Rig Veda, soma was described as a sticky, dark substance dwelling within mountainous rocks. And it said that alchemists would remove it from between the rocks and prepare it and purify it by washing and grinding it before using it as a medicine. And this really does sound exactly like Shilajit, if for no other reason than there really just aren't any other natural substances that really fit this description. But what exactly is Shilajit? Well, there's been a lot of theories over the years, but in more recent times it's been studied and shown to contain a large assortment of organic minerals, antioxidants, polyphenols, triterpenes, dibenzo alpha pyrones, and a high concentration of humic and fulvic acids, which are basically the end products that are left over when microorganisms have completely broken down organic matter. About 50 million years ago, when India and Asia collided and the Himalayas were formed, tropical ecosystems within that area were compressed between the Earth's plates, and they became trapped inside the rising mountain range. So, contained within the Earth's crust for millions of years, these biodiverse ecosystems reached their maximum stage of decomposition, and they became this nutrient-dense biomass that ascended upwards with the growth of the mountains until all of that increasing pressure inside began to force it outwards through the cracks high up in the mountains. People first became aware of the health-giving nature of Shilajit by observing monkeys in the Himalayas that would ascend to very dangerous heights every summer just to harvest and consume this Shilajit resin. And the villagers from the foothills noticed that these monkeys were much more virile, more robust, and a lot wiser and more peaceful than the colonies of the exact same species that lived further down in the lower elevations. So it was really at this point that human interest in Shilajit as a potent health tonic began. Traditionally, Shilajit is used as a rejuvenating anti-aging medicine that's both energizing and detoxifying. Now, in Ayurveda, it's considered a rasayana, which is a substance that increases vitality and lifespan, and it has a balancing and tonifying effect on all 5 elements and 3 doshas of both the Ayurvedic and Tibetan medical systems. So that basically just means that it's suitable for anybody to take regardless of personal constitution. Now, depending on where it's collected from, Shilajit comes in a variety of different colors. It has, different nutrient makeup, but generally speaking, it normally has between 70 to 85 different ionic trace minerals, and all types of Shilajit are very rich in fulvic acid, which is kind of like a mega electrolyte that really increases the selective permeability of cell membranes. So what that means is it's seriously increasing the absorption of nutrients into cells, tissues, and organs, while simultaneously removing toxins and pathogens and waste matter. So, this really helps to keep the cells vital and youthful and full of energy, and this is really a large part of Shilajit's anti-aging mechanism. But fulvic acid doesn't only increase the absorption of all the other nutrients in Shilajit, it actually increases the digestion and the assimilation of really any other foods or medicines that we take it with. So, it's an excellent delivery vehicle for other medicines, and it really ensures that we get the maximum benefit rather than just taking something and, a lot of it just going to waste because of poor digestion, bad circulation, or just elimination channels being compromised. The humic acids are great natural chelators that bind with and break down toxic chemicals and heavy metals within the body, which makes Shilajit an incredible ally in this day and age, considering our globally contaminated food chain, waterways, all of the atmospheric pollution, and all the prescription medicines and all of that stuff. The dibenzo alpha pyrones are considered a major active component in Shilajit, and it's partly why it possesses anti-allergy, antimicrobial, and immune-enhancing properties, as well as providing immediately available energy and reversing fatigue. Shilajit can modulate the immune system by increasing the sensitivity of macrophages and improving phagocytosis, which is really where immune cells are just traveling around the body in search of toxins and pathogens and debris and just consuming it and neutralizing it. And it's also really good at activating lysosomes within tumor cells, causing apoptosis of the malignant cell, which basically just means that it's forcing the malignant cell to self-destruct. Shilajit can inhibit allergic reactions by having a normalizing effect on mast cells, which are a type of immune cell that plays a very, very key role in our allergic response. So it essentially is reducing the sensitivity of mast cells to invading antigens, and subsequently it's reducing the allergic reaction. Shilajit has shown a lot of benefit for people and animals that have peptic ulcers because it can regulate the secretion of hydrochloric acid into the stomach while rebuilding the mucosal lining of the gastric membrane. It's shown genuine results in reducing pain and inflammation of arthritic conditions, which really supports the traditional Ayurvedic recommendation that Shilajit should be taken by people with rheumatism and osteoarthritis. Shilajit is frequently used as a treatment for regulating blood sugar and serum cholesterol, and it's a natural adjunct that's often used by diabetics, and it's a tonic to the kidneys and is classed as a Jing herb in Chinese medicine due to its rejuvenating properties that are inextricably linked to the fortification of the kidneys and the adrenals. So this is also why it's been prescribed as a fertility and libido enhancer for both men and women throughout Asia for centuries, because obviously our Jing energy directly reflects our fertility and our ability to produce healthy offspring. Now, it's really interesting because Shilajit has an effect on mental health too, by augmenting and strengthening the production of dopamine. So it can act as a mood enhancer and an anxiolytic medicine because it can decrease anxiety and really helps to stabilize our emotional behavior. So, once again, this correlates exactly with the Ayurvedic notion that Shilajit pacifies Vata, the wind energy, and all of the psychological turbulence that can come with having too much wind energy in the mind and in the channels of the central nervous system. So, despite being energizing, Shilajit isn't really stimulating, and it can act as a mild sedative that actually helps us to focus rather than get overwhelmed by stress. And all of this really points towards what is perhaps the most important point regarding Shilajit, that it's one of nature's greatest adaptogens that really helps to regulate and stabilize all of the interconnecting systems of our physiology and our metabolism. It helps us to remain functional while under stress, and has a nourishing and supportive effect on the mind and the emotions, which really makes it a great aid for meditation, which is a fact that was not lost on the yogis of ancient times that would sit in meditative retreat for years on end in the very mountains that Shilajit could be found. So extensive research continues on Shilajit's effects on the mind, particularly its ability to enhance learning and memory, and its use as a performance-enhancing substance that's used by elite athletes and Russian cosmonauts who are frequently placing themselves in extreme circumstances where they absolutely must perform at their best while under immense pressure. So could Shilajit actually be the soma that is mentioned in the Rig Veda? Well, it probably could be, but, I think that given the sheer length of its historical use and its reverence in the systems of Ayurveda and Tibetan medicine, and really the fact that science is now confirming its role as a supreme adaptogen, I really think that there's no doubt that purified high mountain Shilajit, it really makes a amazing natural ally for people today in the modern world, because it offers safe and sustainable remedies to so many contemporary diseases of modern civilization, and really can act as a genuine support for physical and mental health. So once again, we find ourselves drawing the same conclusion, where if we want to move forwards and progress as a species, we find that there's a lot of answers and keys embedded within our indigenous heritage, and of course embedded within the rhythms, cycles, and the elements of nature.